Welcome to the Elusive Truth with Rich and Larry. Sometimes. We got a good show for you today. Clown world never ceases to amaze people, especially me. Just crazy. Anyway, let's get on with the show. We're going to start off with Dr. Steve Turley. I'm going to play you this clip because it really helps explain the indictment against President Donald Trump and the fallout from this crazy DA in New York City. But after this, you'll have a better understanding what's really going on because it makes no sense whatsoever. But that's just my opinion. I want you to hear for yourself. So have a listen. Dr. Steve Turley on the media humiliated as Trump indictment implodes.
Alvin Bragg is officially the laughingstock of the nation, and the legacy media is utterly seething in humiliation. We're going to see how this case against Trump is widely being recognized as an abject disaster, how the legacy media got duped, and what's really behind this Democrat embarrassment. The legacy media is absolutely livid as of today. They're seething over this corrupt Soros-backed DA's pathetic excuse for a case. Yesterday, of course, Alvin Bragg revealed his indictment against Trump, and by virtually all accounts, it turned out to be one of the single most embarrassing examples of legal incompetence imaginable. When all is said and done, not only did Bragg fail to actually cite what the federal crime is that President Trump allegedly committed, but he actually divided the single count of Trump supposedly falsifying his business records into 34 separate counts that all point back to the exact same thing. If you don't know, what Michael Cohen, Trump's former lawyer, did is he billed Trump monthly for reimbursement. And so what this embarrassment of a Manhattan DA did is he slapped 3 counts of falsifying documents for every monthly bill from Cohen. He slapped on a felony count for each invoice. He slapped on one for each ledger entry, and he slapped one for each check stub. I mean, you literally can't make this stuff up. Alvin Bragg is today nothing less than a national embarrassment. He's a standing joke. Now, of course, the legacy media will never expressly admit that, but they are utterly shocked at how ridiculous, how vapid, how legally hollow this indictment has turned out to be. Don't take my word for it. Here's John Bolton, the swamp creature himself, live on CNN, admitting how shocked and disappointed he was on the humiliating flimsiness of the case.
One, big picture, what do you think of the indictment?
Well, speaking as someone who very strongly does not want Donald Trump to get the Republican presidential nomination, I'm extraordinarily distressed by this document. I think this is even weaker than I feared it would be. And I think it's easily subject to being dismissed or a quick acquittal.
Yeah, shut your mouth, you warmonger. Even Justin Amash, the liberal Republican who called for Trump's impeachment, even Amash is aghast at this. He tweeted out, quote, "After reading D.A. Bragg's indictment of Trump and accompanying statement of facts, I'm stunned any prosecutor would move forward with this. It's even flimsier than we were led to believe. 34 stacked counts bootstrapped to an unstated crime to manufacture felony charges." Yeah, sorry, Justin. I mean, you've been on the wrong side for years now, but these are the freaks that you're hanging out with. Clay Travis tweeted out, "I've read the entire indictment. This case is a total joke. Will get tossed on legal appeal. This is an absolute gift to the Trump campaign. It's as if Alvin Bragg is trying to get Trump elected. Complete embarrassment to New York City and its citizens." Couple of easy points. Number one, the statute of limitations is violated, which may get this case tossed on its face. And number two, the second crime, which is required to raise this misdemeanor to a felony, doesn't apply under these circumstances and isn't even fully explained. This is very sloppy work. Frankly, even left-wing lawyers are going to struggle to defend this. Huge win for Trump to have such incompetent foes. Here's former Assistant U.S. Attorney Andrew McCarthy on what the judge in this case should do with this sham indictment.
Neil, if the judge does his job right here, the case should be dismissed, and it actually should be dismissed quickly. I agree with what my friends have said, but I think this is actually worse than what we anticipated, because what we anticipated was that they were trying to bootstrap a misdemeanor, which, by the way, they'd have a good deal of difficulty proving if it was just a misdemeanor. But they need to show that he concealed another crime in supposedly falsifying the business records. And what we've thought up until now is that he was going to use that as an avenue to enforce federal campaign finance law. Now, maybe that's what he's planning to do, but he's got to tell us what he's planning to do. And more importantly, he's got to tell Donald Trump. So I think this indictment, even before you get to the statute of limitations and whether he's got jurisdiction to enforce federal law, I would dismiss it on its face because it fails to state a crime. Here, it fails to state a crime 34 times.
Yeah, Byron York is saying something similar in a podcast. When all is said and done, this isn't an indictment. It's simply a fulfilled campaign promise. So this is why you don't need any laws to back up the charges against Trump. Bragg campaigned on getting Trump. That was his campaign. And here he is, having spent millions of dollars of George Soros's money. Here he is with an empty indictment that supposedly fulfilled his campaign promise. So what exactly was Donald Trump's supposed crime? What precisely is he being accused of? Well, we got the answer. Here's former U.S. Attorney Brett Tolman with Jesse Waters on what he believes is the actual crime that Donald Trump committed.
Well, Jesse, I got to tell you, I was hoping to learn something in the indictment. I was hoping that we might be surprised that maybe they had some substance. But I've never seen an indictment like this. I've brought indictments with multiple counts, and I had to show that there were multiple transactions and occurrences and different frauds in order to add every single count. All this was a different take on the exact same issue and allegation 34 times. I guess I've never seen anything like this, and it's not surprising, and it goes to how careful Alvin Bragg has been in presenting this case.
So they take a $130,000 payment and they chop it up like a sushi roll into 34 counts. And tell me, so they stack it, right? They stack this thing, and you're looking at it and you're thinking 34, and then you start reading, and he doesn't even put what the big crime is. Can you figure out what the big crime is here?
Well, I finally did figure it out. It's being Donald Trump.
That's it. He's got it, right? That's the crime. Dan Bongino was almost right. Bongino argued that when it comes to Trump, the establishment is investigating a man in order to find a crime. Banana Republic stuff, right? The rule of law would require that you investigate a crime in order to find a man, the person who committed it, whereas the Democrats are actively investigating a man in order to find a crime. But I think Brett Tolman is closer to the mark. This pathetic sham of an indictment proves that Trump is the crime. He is the offense. Trump is the felony. There's no crime needed. You just need to get rid of him. And speaking of banana republics, or what was once considered a banana republic until an amazing patriot president came to power, Nayib Bukele, the amazing populist president of El Salvador, look at what he tweeted out. Think what you want about former President Trump and the reasons he's being indicted. But just imagine if this happened in any other country where a government arrested the main opposition candidate. The United States' ability to use democracy as foreign policy is gone. The world is taking notice of this circus. The great Hungarian nationalist populist leader Viktor Orban tweeted out his encouragement to President Trump saying, "Keep on fighting, Mr. President. We are with you." I mean, talk about a jab at bumbling Biden. I love it. He called Trump Mr. President. That's amazing. That speaks volumes of what he thinks about the current incontinent and chief in the Oval Office. Well, all of this is to say that this arraignment yesterday simply couldn't possibly have been more embarrassing for the Democrats, for the state of New York, for Alvin Bragg, and ultimately for George Soros himself. Let's go, Trump.
That's what you call a kangaroo court, a banana republic. The United States is looking like trash right now, especially with this ridiculous thing that just happened. From what I understand, the statute of limitations expired This was only 2 years, and this was more than 4 years ago. If you want more information about this, visit Dr. Steve Turley on YouTube. He's got an amazing following, and he has a lot of good stuff to talk about. It's worth listening to. Moving along, because of this unprecedented presidential indictment, the Democrats are starting to shake in their boots because there's talk about indicting the Biden family, and we know what's going to come out of that. Hopefully, it's going to be good. But besides that, I have a piece here. Obama is being implicated in a massive $30 million money funneling scheme that James O'Keefe uncovers potential fraud. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. Apparently, Leonardo DiCaprio testifies that the CCP-linked Malaysian financier, who now is a fugitive, sent $30 million to Obama during the 2012 campaign. I'm going to read you a clip from the Post-Millennial, the PM for short, explaining what DiCaprio was doing in New York, testifying in a federal courthouse. DiCaprio plays into the saga because he was said to have partied with Jae Ho Lo, a Malaysian financier who apparently suggested to DiCaprio once during a conversation that he intended to contribute to Obama's presidential campaign, according to the New York Post. DiCaprio said, quote, "It was a casual conversation about a party he was at and in support of. I told him what party I was in support of, and he told me that he and a group were going to make significant contributions to the Democratic Party. I said, wow, that's a lot of money." Michael, founder of the Fugees, has been recruited by Lowe in effort to funnel money to Obama's re-election bid because foreigners are not allowed to contribute to U.S. campaigns. The report indicated that Michael had taken tens of millions of dollars to lobby the government on behalf of the Chinese government. However, it turns out that much of the money was stolen. Lowe is now being accused of embezzling $4.5 billion from 1MDB, Malaysia's state investment fund, per Reuters. Lowe reportedly helped fund DiCaprio's 2013 hit film The Wolf of Wall Street, a performance that won the 48-year-old a Golden Globe for Best Actor. DiCaprio and Lowe apparently carried on a friendship for a number of years, and the actor apparently understood Lowe to be a significant businessman with ties to the Abu Dhabi and Malaysia. Prosecutors have claimed that Michael received over $20 million from foreign accounts, which were then passed off to 20 straw donors from June to November 2012. According to the Post, these donors were believed to have made the contributions to the Obama campaign in their name so the money could not be tracked back to Lowe. Michael was apparently paid $70 million for his assistance to Lowe. As a result, the Fugees artist now facing 11 criminal counts of attempting to influence the Obama and Trump administrations, per the report. Prosecutors have also noted that the artist is being accused of attempting to interfere with Trump's investigation into Lowe. As I said before, this is just the tip of the iceberg, and there seems to be some teeth to this, but only time will tell, and if the media will ever report on this, which they'll do their darndest not to. Apparently, there's a tangled web that these celebrities are weaving with the elites. I want to read you just a couple quick comments from this that hits home. One person said, "Really sad to hear about DiCaprio's passing. I didn't know that he was suicidal." Usually when you have things like this come out, things do happen. So good luck to you, Leonardo. And now who would have ever guessed that the Hollywood celebrities are intermingling with the elite politicians? Clown world, athletes and actors all telling us what to do and letting us know that we are wrong. Now, one thing is for certain, that I have never heard of this because the media doesn't portray anything about Malaysia. The last thing I heard was they had a plane that went missing that they still haven't found, which in this day and age doesn't make any sense. But that's a whole nother podcast there. But for the last comment, this comes from somebody claiming to be from Malaysia. "I am Malaysian, and the IMDb scandal is huge in Malaysia. The fugitive is still living comfortably in China. There are attempts to bring him back and to face trial, but that so far nothing's happened. The Malaysian Prime Minister was implicated in the scandal, is now serving time in prison. His wife was also sentenced. Depending on where you live, you know more about this, and it's a big deal to a lot of people over there. Slowly getting back to here in the United States, it could be that one little piece of straw that breaks the camel's back, and the Democrats start falling down one by one. We can only hope. Now, for my next piece, I have James O'Keefe. He's looking into Wisconsin's top political donors. Apparently, they had made a lot of contributions, and there's a lot of irregularities, and he's confronting these donors. I want to say that the audio is kind of nuts, but bear with it. A lot of these donors, apparently they have made big contributions, but according to James O'Keefe, there's a lot more to the contributions than these donors are giving up. So have a listen. Again, this just shows that this is not that far-fetched. We have Trump indictment, Obama with these accusations, and now we're going to little old Wisconsin that has voter irregularities. How can this be? You can't make this stuff up. But here, have a listen. James O'Keefe talking to Wisconsin's top political donors.
We have our latest citizen journal showing another example of unclaimed contributions through Act Blue. An inquisitive detective with Brightline Investigations for Election Watch brought us the latest unwitting contributor, this time for Richard Schallert of Winnicombe, Wisconsin. Let's hear what he has to say.
You can step in if you want to.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you very much, ma'am. Hi there, you Richard, sir?
Yes, that's me.
My name's Kyle Corrigan. I'm with Brightline Investigations. I'm a private detective. Just had a couple of questions here. I've been hired by an election watch company, and they noticed that your name was on a federal elections commission that's donated several $1,000s. In the last 7 years, you've apparently donated 8,333 times to elections.
Wow, that many? I know I did donate a lot. That seems a little odd.
Yeah.
That seems too high. Maybe 800.
Okay.
But not 8,000. No, there must be an error there. No, I can't believe I was admitted to that show.
Okay.
I'm a generous donor, I grant you that.
Sure.
But nothing like 8,000. No.
Okay. So, but just once a month is all you're donating, as far as you know?
Yeah. Well, once a month for,
right.
up to the election. Yeah.
Sure. So 12 times a year,
Yeah,
is
12 times a year.
okay.
Yeah, that little bit of something else, that doesn't sound right. Yeah, I say maybe over the period of 7 years, maybe 800 donations all.
But that's 10 times, what it should be then.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's way out of line. That's not. But I'll look through some of my old records and see if I can find it.
All right. Well, I appreciate your time, Richard.
Oh no.
As we were producing this piece, we received additional footage from citizen journalist Kyle Corrigan out in the field. Here's what Wisconsin residents Sidney Grossberg and Dale Wing had to say when asked about their alleged contributions.
We obtained this from Election Watch. I was hired by an attorney with Election Watch to interview several different residents in the state of Wisconsin that had some significant amounts of political donations in their name. The information that I have is in the last 7 years, it says that you've donated 10,989 times.
Over how many years?
7 years. So it comes out to about 4 times a day that you're donating.
Wow.
That's what we thought too. You're one of the highest.
To my knowledge, I don't think that I gave that kind of information concerning my credit card.
Right, but 10,000 times, I'm reasonably certain that you would have seen some sort of charges on there that you thought, this looks odd. This recurring charge this would be like 4 times a day. For your particular amount of donations, that will be 4 times a day that they're making this every single day of the week, 24/7, 365. Nobody I've spoke to yet has actually had any unauthorized transactions on their account.
What you told me is startling. 99.9% I put on one credit card. Well, I confess that I have no concept 11,000 donations.
11,000 donations.
You made 4,085 donations in the last 7 years. Do you know if is it accurate?
That doesn't sound accurate. 4,000.
Yeah, so 4,000, not just $4,000, but 4,085 donations. So that's about almost 2 a day, I guess, in the last 7 years. So,
No,
look, do you have a ballpark idea of about how many times you have donated? Okay. Like a couple hundred or something like that, or some of the other folks I've spoken to, they do like a monthly donation where it's automatically withdrawn from their accounts and things like that.
I think
it was nice speaking with you, ma'am.
I know that was hard to follow, especially with all the wind noise, but basically more investigations are popping up, and this is going to lead to a lot of downfalls of the Democratic Party. Mark my words. It's coming. It's happening. It can't come fast enough, but it's starting. And this is exactly where they're going to look for because it doesn't add up. And they've been fooling everybody for so long. Time to pay the piper, so to speak. Okay, moving along. We're going to talk about that crazy Chicago mayor, Beetlejuice. Have you heard? She is out. She lost her election, and they got a new one in there. And time will tell to see what this guy does. From what I understand, he's even far more left than Beetlejuice was. Chicago mayor blames race and gender for her loss. Forget about that. She didn't do anything for Chicago, and she made it even way worse than it possibly could be. Thank goodness she's out. Now she's just blaming this is all on race because she was a black lady. But she forgot that she got elected as a black lady. Again, these people just, all they do is lie, lie, lie. I have a piece from ABC 7 Chicago News that takes this loss in kind of a positive way, meaning it's fluff. They don't really get into the facts. Lori Lightfoot definitely lost this race, but, she put the city on the right track. Have a listen.
Guys, Lori Lightfoot made history 4 years ago when she became the first black woman and the first openly gay candidate to be elected Chicago mayor. She battled through the pandemic, battled through the civil unrest after George Floyd's death, and the contentious relationship she oftentimes had with the Chicago City Council. Tonight, she made history again, becoming the first elected incumbent in 40 years not to win a second term.
Obviously, we didn't win the election today, but I stand here with my head held high.
Lori Lightfoot telling supporters tonight that she was proud of her accomplishments, particularly proud of the Invest Southwest program that helped bring economic development to underinvested areas of the city. She said that must continue, and she said she will be rooting for whoever becomes Chicago's next mayor.
And regardless of tonight's outcome, we fought the right fights, and we put this city on a better path. No doubt about it.
Afterwards, I talked to Mayor Lightfoot, having covered her for 5 years since she first got into this race. She said this was a tough year for incumbents. She doesn't know what she's going to do next, she told me, but she has some ideas. She'll definitely be staying in Chicago, though. Her daughter is a freshman in high school. Tonight, her fall from power may be really a referendum on how she failed to get a handle on crime, which was the #1 issue in this race.
The only real truth from that piece was that she did fail to get a grip on crime. It got worse, way worse. She holds her head up high. She's proud of what she's done and accomplished. So that's the media for you. But here's another spin on it where they actually say something a little bit different. Have a listen. This is from News Nation. And Dan Abrams, Chicago mayor, blames race and gender for her loss and ignores the failures of her office.
Last night, voters in Chicago gave Mayor Lori Lightfoot the boot, bringing her tumultuous, crime-plagued tenure to a close after just one term. Lightfoot is the first Chicago mayor in 40 years not to win a second term in office. She conceded last night after finishing a distant third in the Windy City's primary behind Paul Vallis and Brandon Johnson in the 9-candidate race. Vallis, a moderate Democrat, was the top vote getter in a field by a significant margin. But since he didn't receive more than 50% of the vote, he will square off now against Johnson in a runoff in April. Lightfoot finished with just over 17%. That is a stunningly small slice of the vote for an incumbent. It's a type of emphatic rejection from the voters that indicates a failed tenure. But instead of reflecting on why she was defeated so soundly, Lightfoot has been trotting out both the race and gender cards. Last night, following her concession speech, a reporter asked her if she'd been treated unfairly. And Lightfoot replied, quote, "I'm a black woman in America. Of course." Yes, Lori Lightfoot believes that her race and her gender are why she did not win a second term, or at least that's what she's saying publicly. And it wasn't just that one-off comment. Lightfoot has been laying the groundwork for this argument for days. In a recent interview with The New Yorker, the mayor said, quote, "I'm a black woman, and let's not forget some folks, frankly, don't support us in leadership roles." Of course, enough folks supported her in 2019 to become mayor of Chicago, in a city that's roughly 1/3 white. But that's all just ancient history, I guess. She told Politico on Monday, the day before the election, in reference to the previous Chicago mayor, Rahm Emanuel, quote, "I remember Rahm Emanuel appearing on the cover of Time magazine. The headline was basically like, 'Tough guy for Chicago. No woman or woman of color is ever going to get that headline.'" Look, it's unclear if Lightfoot was deluding herself or trying to delude voters. There were many reasons why she lost, and they had nothing to do with her race. The dominant issue in the campaign was public safety. Crime in the city skyrocketed on Lightfoot's watch in all major categories, and a string of looting incidents rocked Chicago's famous shopping area, the Magnificent Mile. Overall, theft was up 37% over the past 3 years, murders up 39%, reaching numbers not seen in Chicago since the early 90s. Motor vehicle theft went up a staggering 139%. Now, Lightfoot tried half-heartedly to campaign on pro-police rhetoric, calling for more officers on the streets, but it rang hollow. Her relationship with the department so strained that officers turned their backs on her in August of 2021 when she visited the hospital in support of Officer Ella French, who was shot in the line of duty and later died. And the numbers reveal an exodus of officers during Lightfoot's tenure. A recent analysis showed more than 3,300 officers left the force while Lightfoot was mayor, and just 1,600 have joined during that same period. That left an opening for Paul Vallis, who won the backing of the city's police union, and many voters concerned about public safety ended up casting their ballots for him on Election Day. And her failed effort at trying to portray herself as pro-police also probably alienated her with the further left. Whatever the cause, it had nothing to do with her race or her gender, and I think it is dangerous to be peddling those sorts of excuses. Joining us now is Amisha Cross. She's a Democratic political commentator who's worked in Chicago politics for more than 15 years. Thanks for coming back on the show. Appreciate it. What do you make of the mayor's comments that it's based on race and gender?
You know, this might surprise you, Dan, but I'm actually going to agree with you in part. The frustrating part for me as a Black woman is watching another Black woman blame her race and her gender for why she wasn't able to amass support across Chicago. First and foremost, last time I checked, Lori Lightfoot was a Black woman when she ran the first time, and she was still able to win. It's also that she carried a lot of white Chicagoans during her first administration in terms of the vote. She got a lot of white support across the north side, across the northwest sides. Those people turned out in high number to support her. It was what she did when she was in office that caused her not to get reelected. This is someone who basically did an all-out assail on the Chicago Teachers Union and on teachers in Chicago. This is someone who didn't meet the needs of a community that was crying out for housing supports and rent that they could actually afford. This is someone who, when it came to public safety, and this is where I kind of disagree with you somewhat, when it came to public safety, the Black communities that were affected the most, they felt as though not only did she not show up.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your cable provider.
At the very least, that piece showed a little bit more truth in what really happened rather than the craziness that Beetlejuice is making. Now, to capitalize on this, I have a gentleman who is at City Hall, and he's going to give Beetlejuice a piece of his mind. And this is stuff that they don't show you all the time on the news, that's for sure.
Future historians are going to have a hard time understanding how you ever even became mayor of the city of Chicago. I intend to write that book. I intend to make sure that at least there is some possible way for the city of Chicago to move forward. I hope that you realize what damage you have done to the city. I hope that after today's city council meeting, you will pack your suitcase and get the hell out of my city.
Mr. Kelly,
You are a pandemic. You are a pandemic. Thank you.
Absolutely amazing piece. I'm sure a lot of Chicago citizens feel the exact same way. The unbelievable part of this is that Chicago elected Brandon Johnson as mayor, ditching the tough on crime candidate. So, and as I said before, he's far left, so we'll see what happens. Portland is in the same boat, except we re-elected Wheeler. We're not going anywhere. Yeah, they're keeping that place crazy. I mean, it's sad. It really is. Portland was a beautiful city, and if you left, you know why. Moving along for my next piece, I have Heavy Duty Country. You need to check him out. He is awesome. He is pro-American. He's going to be talking about Whoopi Goldberg. She's been opening up her mouth again, and she has no clue what she's talking about. She thinks that she can take the AR-15s away from us. And has this world gone mad? Have a listen. It's pretty good.
Everyone, welcome back. Hope everyone's doing well. If you're new here and you love guns, this is the channel for you. Hit that button, make sure you're subscribed, join the family. We always have fun here, no matter what. So a lot's been going on in the country lately. We got trains derailing, we've got potential war threats from other countries, yet our country is still and primarily focused on disarming America. Now, knowing that and turning on the news, it's honestly getting a lot of people dumbfounded. Doesn't add up. It's like you're reading China and Russia are pairing up to take on the US. North Korea might join in. And our military is still talking about everybody feeling like their gender role is being worked on. And then right after seeing that, you see the nation's biggest issue is guns. What? You sure about that? I just want to go over the crap that's being said about gun deaths. Because that's what it's about, right? No, it shouldn't be about that. It should just be about we have a Second Amendment, we protect everyone in our vicinity, and occasionally, yes, something bad is going to happen. Okay, so there are some news companies or whatever who just straight up lie about the amount of gun deaths in this country. They're saying that we have the most in the entire world, and it's just total crap. El Salvador leads the entire world with 32 people out of 100,000. Then it's Venezuela, then Guatemala, Colombia, Honduras, Brazil, Puerto Rico, the Bahamas, United States Virgin Islands, and then Mexico. We aren't even close to the top 10. And we own the most guns out of any country by far. We are very low on the totem pole as far as actual gun deaths. Not even the average. But of course, we got companies like this saying, we have the most. Well, you're just straight up lying to people. It's kind of like what the White House does every single day. So I believe last year in America, we had 13,000 gun deaths. Per 100,000 people every year, 4.12 people die from guns. 4. Now, I'm not downplaying death at all. Death is terrible. But let's be real here. We talked about this before, but that is less than people dying from a bucket. Like a bucket from Home Depot. I don't know how you die in that. Maybe you filled it up with water, passed out from drinking too much beer. Somehow you just do a face plant into it and drown, I guess. But that's how rare this is. But this is a perfect example of you can blow up anything you want, as long as it's covered by the news. They're making it sound like 5 million people every single day are dying. So last thing before we get into Whoopi here. If you have a very high volume business, you're gonna have a team that is quality control, right? Per 100,000 of these products that you make, if 4 of them, let's just say 5 to be liberal about it, if 5 out of 100,000 of the products that you make are defective or bad, is that a cause for concern? Are you making that the most important priority of your company's future, is making sure that maybe you only get to 1, 2 bad ones? Oh my God, 5 out of 100,000. No, you're not worried about it because it's not even a percentage point. Now remember, these deaths are all guns included. Most of them are with handguns, but yet they're trying to ban the AR-15, the AK-47, any kind of semi-automatic rifle. Now listen to these idiots. So, we get to Whoopi. She gets on The View the other day. Honestly, I don't know why people watch this show, but we're going to dissect it because, once again, we've got a group of people who are just extremely, extremely unrealistic about life. More people every year probably die watching your show from boredom than people die from guns. But anyways, let's just try to all stay alive while we watch this.
Let's start with this. The AR-15 style rifle needs to go. Period. It needs to go. You cannot...
How much do y'all pay the crowd in this thing? Oh, yeah. Jesus. What? Is she a genius or what? I am so glad we got these tickets, honey. I mean, that's brilliant. I'm so happy I skipped work for this today.
You cannot hunt with it. There's nothing left after you shot it. We all know what it does.
You can't hunt with it? Clearly you've never been to Texas. Clearly you've never been to somewhere that has a hog problem. Clearly you've never been 6 feet away from a hog charging at you with big-ass tusks. And no, they're not going to give you a second to figure out if you like guns or not. Also, they destroy your land. So if you're a farmer, a rancher, have animals, have livestock, you're pretty much screwed if you don't get rid of them. So we can't hunt with them, is what you're saying? We got to take out a sounder of 40 of them with a bolt action? I mean, hell, a .338 Lapua will probably go through 3 of them at once. But still, it's not going to be better than an AR-15. It's not going to be better than an AR-10. It's not going to be better than an AK-47. So an AR-15, that'll definitely hunt, and we can hunt with it.
Until that conversation can be had, nothing is going to happen. Exactly. That's the issue. The issue is that damn rifle.
Oh, so you're saying it's just the AR-15. You realize that if you just got rid of the AR-15, there's still the AK-47, there's still the AR-10, there are still a ton of semi-automatic rifles that are legal. So you're losing your own argument here, jackass.
Get rid of that, and people will go, oh yeah, okay, let's talk about real issues. But as I said, I can't go get a howitzer, right? There's stuff I can't buy. So if I can't buy a tank...
Clearly you've never watched Demolition Ranch, okay? That's all I have to say about that.
And I can't buy the shoulder thing. Why can you buy something that's not meant to hunt anything? It's specific, as you said, it is specific to death.
No, it's not. It's specific to whatever you use it for. It's a tool at the end of the day. You can use a hammer for a lot of stuff other than just pounding nails into a wall. A lot of stuff. But you cover it just as killing people. 4 out of 100,000. Just straight delusion. And then I don't know if y'all remember back last year in May, she said this.
I don't want all your guns the way you don't want to take away all my rights to abortion. I don't want all your guns. I want that AR-15. I want it. And we're going to vote it out, so it's going to not be acceptable.
Well, I would like a show where it's not a group of feminists being unrealistic about life and our guns.
Do you hear those people clapping? That's unbelievable. They have no clue what's going on. They're brainwashed. It's just Whoopi Goldberg, Joy, The View. I don't even know why that's still even on. They should go back to talking about eating bran muffins. Other than that, crazy. And again, thank you, country, heavy duty country. I mean, seriously, people need to wake up. Speaking of waking up or being woke, what happened, Anheuser-Busch? Oh my goodness. Butt Light. That's what they call it now. Butt Light. Unbelievable. Did you hear about Kid Rock and what he did? Got to listen to this. Go Kid Rock.
Grandpa's feeling a little frisky today. Let me say something to all you and be as clear and concise as possible. Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch. Have a terrific day.
There's only one Budweiser beer. When you say Bud, you've said it all.
Stop it.
I believe Kid Rock just proved Whoopi Goldberg wrong. He just hunted down those poor innocent Bud Light cases. Got to check out the video. It's even more spectacular. Uproar all over the country, especially bars. At least Bud Light is done. They totally ruined it for themselves. You have to go check it out for yourself. I won't get into it. Yeah, it's bad. And a lot of people are boycotting Anheuser-Busch. It's not good for them. Crazy they would ever have such a person as their spokesperson. Just nuts. Well, for the last piece I have the conservative twins. I was looking for something kind of humorous to end the show with because I like to do that because there's so much doom and gloom. Again, the conservative twins, if you don't know about them, they got a good following, smart dudes. And this guy swears he's a woman. Now, this is just the audio, but you really need to go and check out the video. It will do more justice. But I had to put something in humorous so we can leave at just a little bit elevated note rather than this doom and gloom that's around us in circus world. Remember when you used to go to the circus and it was fun and it was cool and amazing? Yeah, it's turned into nothing but clown world, and the circus is never ending. So, conservative twins, check out this new man that's now a woman. It's just dumb. But again, this is being woke, and you really need to watch the video to get the full effect. But have a listen.
So start with this, but it's going to be on pause. Ready, Kevin? Yeah, I got a new show for y'all. Got a damn good show. I'm about to show y'all a new age woman. This is Woman 2.0. Yeah, that's these new women coming out. Yeah, they did metamorphosize into a totally different creature. This is up in Canada. Check it out. Canada, new woman.
28-year-old Bridget Klein-Simpson has identified as a woman for years, and she wants to get into better shape, so she went to the Bodyworks Gym for Women in Parksville for a membership. Klein-Simpson says she was initially welcomed, but after one workout, she was informed she was not allowed at the women's only gym.
Saying, sorry, we made a mistake. You're not actually allowed to be here, but you're more than welcome to use the co-ed facility. And I kind of just hung up because I was extreme devastated. I mean, there's really no other word for it.
You devastated. I'm devastated. Man, what is going on here, man? This is up in Canada. I mean, looking at the video of you talking, it looks like this is the first day you became a woman. You ain't got no skin in the game. You just look like you woke up one morning, put on a damn wig, and walked outside of your house. This seems more like satire to me. He's playing games. This is like he's definitely playing games. You wouldn't have believed something like this would be going on in this entire globe 15 years ago. But now this is like 15 years ago. 5 years ago. I'm just saying, this is like satire. This is something you would see in a comedy sketch. South Park. Boondocks. Rick and Morty. Adult Swim. This is like real life. But the only people who see this guy as a woman, is Democrats. And that's a fact. They see this guy as a woman. That's no lie. Like the judge. That black woman became the judge here in America. What's her name? Ketanji? Sound like somebody Lion King, don't it? Ketanji couldn't even identify. What was it? Ketanji Jackson? Yeah, Ketanji Brown Jackson or something. She could even, when she was going through the process of becoming a Supreme Court justice, she couldn't even tell you what a woman is, even though she's a woman. It's a crazy word. This is all Democrats. You know what happened, though? What? They initially admitted her, but then they changed their minds. Yeah, at the gym? Yeah. So they gave her an opportunity to prove that she was a woman, and you just went up to par. I mean, he's probably staring at women's butts. Yeah. No, I know what happened. You saw how he was walking around? Yeah. In that video shot, that's how he's walking around the gym. This ain't it. Hey, show that part of the video when he's walking. That shit when he's walking up to the gym. He just walking around. I have never, ever seen a woman walk like this. Never.
For years,
I don't
and
even
she
care if
wants
she's
to
a
get into better
powerlifter.
shape, so she went to the Bodyworks gym for women in Parksville
Man, that's
for a
crazy
membership.
as hell.
Klein
Women don't walk around with their hands in their pockets. Yeah, and they don't walk, man. You like you could squat about 400-500 pounds. You don't look like no woman. You don't walk like no woman. You don't sound like no woman. Guess what? You ain't no woman. What's that saying? Walk like a duck. Quack like a duck. Quack like a duck. I best believe it's a damn duck. Yeah, you walk like a man. You look like a man. You is a man.
Go to the Conservative Twins. Watch the rest of that video. It's absolutely funny. It makes more sense when you actually see the lady trying to be a guy. I mean, the guy being a lady or whatever he is. He's got a deep voice. Woke. That will do it for today. And Larry, he's doing good. I think he's losing his mind going to the doctor's office. He's the only one around here running around with the big giant Trump 1 flag in his car. And it's not the place to do it. But that's Larry for you. He'll be with us next week. He tells me he's got so much to talk about, and this Trump thing is going to be the start of the new revolution, so to speak, according to Larry. So with that, I want you to keep looking for the elusive truth and keep your vibrations up high. We need to talk about all the extraterrestrial things going on, and, Bigfoot's still out there doing his thing. I'm telling you, there's all sorts of crazy stuff then we have to talk about because this world's gone nuts. So we love you. Stay safe. Take care of each other. And we will see you soon. Bye-bye.